Mr. Wick.
42 regular, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so it begins.
Yeah. I'm living in this time behind enemy lines, so I got mine. I hope you
Challenge him to single combat.
If you win, you'll have your freedom.
And when I see you, I'ma take what I want, so
Amen.
yeah. You ain't real, hope ya. Y'all feel the wrath of Yellow. Many try, many die, if you wanna war. Get it bloody.
C'est pas pour Eureka.
Come on.
The only way John Wick will ever have freedom and peace is in death.
Yeah. Not really.
What's going on, with this boy Kuya P, NRW. Heather Hertz just got out of the press screening for John Wick Chapter 4. Thoughts coming out the joint?
There's so many. There's so many.
A lot of bodies, a lot of bullets, a lot of blades.
Things happened.
A lot of things happen. It's what you want with a John Wick film. Yeah. So check out our full review on the NRW. I'll be talking about it obviously on WTOP-FM. But just good times. If you want John Wick action, you definitely get John Wick action and doggies.
Oh, with doggies.
Because you know it all started with the dog.
That's a moment there. Thanks, Patrick. Thanks.
All right, y'all. NRW. Heather, your boy Kuya P, we out.
Hello, everyone, and we are Kuya P.
What up?
We got to see a very special action-packed film. This small film from this really offbeat franchise known as John Wick.
Yeah, no one's heard of that. No one's
never heard of it. Chapter 4 is officially out on March 24th, and we were just one of the lucky many critics, and we were very, very excited for the production team to be so open to critics about it, to see Chapter 4 early, and we're going to talk about it. Kuya P, how are you today, sir?
I am well. I'm excited to talk about it. I actually literally started with the John Wick franchise late. I don't think I jumped on until till Chapter 2. I didn't see the first one. I heard a lot of buzz, and I had meant to see it, but you know me, I'm super busy. Didn't get around to it. I finally jumped around onto it on Chapter 2, fell in love with it, enjoyed Chapter 3, and so when Chapter 4 came around, super excited like you to see this. Probably not as much as John Hurt over there, but
I'm actually more excited than he is about this one.
So yeah, really had some fun. But I don't want to spoil until we get to that portion. But yeah, excited to talk to you about it, and let's go there about bodies, blades, and bullets. I like to say that a lot.
I think it's actually a movie title. It's not that movie.
If it isn't, it needs to be. It needs to be. So all right, Heather, let's get into it.
Sure. Per our usual, except we're doing this backwards, I will be doing the plot, and Kuya P will be giving you some character details, and then we will do a spoiler-free review. And we might do spoiler-free. We gotta be kind, but we might do some spoilery stuff at the end. Kind of some 411s, maybe a couple little things just to even it out. So, with that being said, let's get started with the plot. All right. So the plot is there's this guy named John Wick, and he's an assassin, and he kills people. QP up to you.
That's it?
No. That's just a vast majority of the entire plot that has been the John Wick franchise. As we know, John was officially disconnect. I can never remember the correct word. He was officially
disavowed
from the Assassin's Guild, from the table. So with that being said, he is currently running for his life. That is what happened at the end of Chapter 3. And so Chapter 3, Chapter 2?
3. This is chapter 4.
No. Chapter
when
2,
did the disavow thing happen?
Chapter 2 was when he officially was disavowed.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure.
It's all right. It happened in 2, and then he got shot in 3 by the manager of the Continental, and then now we're here in this place at this time. And right now he's just running for his life. He's trying to stay alive with literally every single assassin on the planet coming after him with a huge bounty on his head. And he comes to a decision that the manager, for some reason or other, comes to him with a suggestion about this new person that seems to be taking lead of the table and make a deal with them. You see this in the trailer. This is not a spoiler. This is what happens in the trailer. And he makes a deal to have a duel. And with that being said, he puts his entire life on the line. And then there's some parts where Donnie Yen just plays this really badass assassin in the mix. So that is the plot.
All right. So you're good with the story breakdown there, Heather?
Absolutely.
All right. I'll take over with this cast. Amazing cast, y'all. Of course, John Wick, Keanu. Prince, just adorbs, one of probably the best humans on the planet. Super badass that killer in this, but completely different person in real life. I think we all know this. He rides the train, public transportation in New York City, y'all. He just goes about his day like every normal human being would, and is just salt of the earth, right, Heather?
He's just a good normal human. He's just a good normal human. It's great.
Yes. So you love to see it. So this franchise, I think, wouldn't be anything without Keanu, our John Wick. So the title character there. Heather just said a moment ago, we have Donnie Yen, y'all. What? He plays the character by the name of Kane in this. Woo! Man. I loved Donnie Yen's performance, but I'll say that more in the review. But freaking legend Donnie Yen plays Kane. Brilliant. Our baddie in this that we're kind of going after over on the table side of things, the marquee of the table is Pennywise, aka Bill Skarsgård. Tall, menacing as ever, even without the makeup. Brilliantly performed. I love Bill Skarsgård. I'm a fan of his. We also have the Bowery King, Lawrence Fishburne, returning. We also have Shimazu, played by Hiroyuki Sanada. Stay tuned to the NRW because there might be some conversation with Mr. Sanada that we had also way back when we were covering Mortal Kombat. So just a little FYI there. Coming to this, or at least new to me, Heather, you might have to check me on this. To me, I think this is his first time in the series. But the character of Tracker, Shamir Anderson, was he?
This is his intro.
Yep. This is his intro. Okay, and I think maybe we might see more of him. I'm not saying that there's going to be a chapter 5. I'm not saying anything at all. But if they're with this character's introduction into this franchise, I'm calling spinoff. I'm gonna say that. I hope that's not a spoiler. I don't think it's a spoiler. Because I'm not saying that there won't be a chapter 5, but the way this character gets introduced and brilliantly portrayed, Shamir Anderson, man, I've seen him in other things. I'm trying to remember what other work he's done, but dude's badass and is just a fine introduction into John Wick with chapter 4. Lance Reddick is back as the concierge Sharon. We also have the daughter of Shimazu, Hiroyuki Sanada, in Arena Sawayama. I'm sorry if I brutalized that name, but oh my gosh, does she kick ass in this, y'all. Just amazing. Loved her performance. Love this guy coming into this franchise. Big time action hero. We've seen him in a lot of films. I know he's Rob Medina's favorite action star. Scott Adkins, y'all, is in chapter 4 as Killa. You may not recognize him because he's a little bit bigger in size in this, but still can kick ass in a bodysuit. Brilliant. Returning as well is Winston, Ian McShane, who plays Winston. Amazing job there. And the cast goes on. Let me also highlight Clancy Brown, who plays Harbinger. And there's many more. Again, it takes a village to make a film. So my shout out to every cast member and crew member. And actually, let me throw some crew members out there before I forget. Chad Stahelski as the director, and the writers on this particular Chapter 4 film is Shay Hayton, as well as Michael Finch, and based on characters created by Derek Kolstad. There you go. That's your cast and crew for John Wick Chapter 4. I want to talk about this film. So we're both now on the screen. Heather, what are your thoughts? Let's start before we even saw this. Post Chapter 3, generally a film franchise gets like 3 sets of films. It's generally a trilogy type of atmosphere over in Hollywood. Rarely do you get like a 4, unless you're getting a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Were you ready for this? Because and like we saw at the end of Chapter 3, he got shot by the manager. Were you happy? Was John happy? How was the feeling?
No longer about me. It's no longer about me. So actually, John and I are about equal excited about this. John and I are both longtime Keanu fans. We are big Constantine fans all the way back in the day. But so we both had a lot of fun with this series from the get-go. I think he's one of the main reasons that him and I are even married. So thank you, Keanu. Love you.
Love that.
But I mean, the thing is that 4 was technically announced already before 3. So going into that film, it was like, oh, we already know. It's kind of like the announcements they had for Ballerina, which will be a spinoff of, we don't know for sure if it's going to be a prequel or if it's going to be post John Wick Chapter 4. We just know that unfortunately they did tease us that Keanu will be doing a appearance in that film. I was excited. I was ecstatic to see this franchise continue. And as we know now from Scream 4, this is the definition of a franchise. So what about you? I mean, you already said it a little bit, but go into a little more detail.
Before Chapter 4 happened, I was ready. Not sure where they're gonna go. Obviously, Disavowed going to be hunted, so yeah, you can play into that. Even though he got shot, no one ever dies. No one ever dies. No one ever really dies. So I was super excited, and seeing who was coming forward and going to be in this, hands down, Donnie Yen. Knowing that Donnie Yen was going to be a part of this franchise, what? And then to finally see this film, what? Like, okay, everybody knows Star Wars. Donnie Yen was, in Rogue One, right? And played a blind master there. Is this a spoiler? This probably going to be a spoiler?
I actually did not get it from the trailer, so I'm going to say that it's a spoiler. It's the character that he plays. I will say this in response. I really hope he doesn't get typecast in the same position, this specific role, because he is I'm like you. It's the moment he was debuted in the trailer. My husband and I literally got on the phone and we were just screaming, "It's Keanu versus Donnie!"
Right? But I'm okay. Your first spoiler here. Maybe this is where you stop, because I that's why I was saying earlier, Heather, I got to do a little bit of spoilers here. But
okay,
Donnie Yen is blind again, y'all. He was blind in Star Wars Rogue One, but just amazing. And then they incorporated that element into his character here. But blindness doesn't stop Donnie Yen. He will figure out a way to kick your ass and look so cool doing it. Oh my God. Like, I was like, oh my God, every single time. And there's a certain scene in this film that, like, my goodness, man. You
were into it. You were really into that scene. You were.
Yeah, I don't know if, because you tell me at horror films, like, Patrick, be prepared. I jump with jump scares.
I jump at everything. But
I was doing that throughout this. I don't know if you felt it or saw me, but I was like,
I was right next to you. I know exactly what was happening.
I was loving it.
So one of the great things that on several of the movies that we've seen lately, and I've made this comment, was the interactiveness to the film. We've seen several films where you feel it in the audience, and so you get visceral, audible ohs and yeses and all these noises. And this is yet another one where half of the fun of this movie was the laughter, was people just feeling every ache and pain, and there's a lot of aches and pains in this movie.
I'm really happy you brought that up. That was one of the things I wanted to make sure we pointed out. This is a film you want to see in the theater. Even though, again, Heather and I are very big proponents about, protecting yourself. We're still in a pandemic, y'all. Be careful. But man, that's why I know for myself, I love that we're having duality where we can watch it in the theater or at home. I want Hollywood to do that, because there's also people that, for health reasons can't go to a theater and stuff. So I want that option to be available. But with that being said, this is a film you want to see with an audience and with people like you and I was loving the interactive action as certain moments happened. It was an experience, and it's what reminds me of what made me fall in love as a kid going to the cinema and enjoying with cinema. It was amazing. I don't recall. Actually, it's crazy because as of this recording this week, we saw 2 films back to back with an audience, and I felt there was a vibe too with that audience as well.
Not as much as this one.
And it was a good popcorn fun. This one a little bit more than the other one, but it reminded me of how much I love seeing a movie at a theater with people, because you're experiencing something all together, and John Wick delivers on that, definitely, hands down. Yeah,
absolutely. There's what you're getting across the board, which is actually very interesting in today's current critique or critic climate, is that very rarely is there just a blanket position. The cinematography, the action sequences, the design work, the directing, the writing, the script work, in that it's a Keanu film, so there is not a lot of script. It is, we never ever see just a blanket appreciation, or it doesn't impact this one, but a blanket. No, I would say that it does. So it's the blanket appreciation for a film. Everyone has loved this movie. But one thing that really stood out to me as a personal opinion, because, there's the small itty bitty differences in opinion that matter, is one, you should see it in IMAX. You should. I would not tell you to go spend $25 on a ticket if I could, but you should see this in IMAX. You want to feel it. You want to know it. But we are very lucky with this group. We are very lucky to see films for free in invitation, and it's awesome. We love it. We want to thank the production companies. Blah 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 blah. But with that being said, I usually don't go see a movie a second time, whether I pay for it or not. I'm a one-time person. My husband and I have tickets to this film. We are seeing it 2 other times, period. And I think that says a lot more about this movie overall than us going in and saying every single critic says this is great. We like this movie so much that we want to go in and see all of those little bits. We want to go in and see more in the way that it is meant to be seen.
I love that. So we kind of went from like our feelings prior to kind of like already kind of loving it as we just did, because we can't help it. So before I kind of throw a couple more of my feelings on it, I wanted to throw it back to you, because we kind of like I said, we went to loving it. But so you favorite moments watching the film, you're kind of like now your review, Heather, even though we've already said we love it and you bought tickets to see it multiple times. But I just wanted to give you your window there in case before I kind of say my piece as well.
I'm not going to give any spoilers. I am definitely one of those people. I'm a comic book nerd. I'm sorry, I can't do spoilers. It's against my nature. But
I promise I won't do spoilers. I promise. I'll try.
No. I'm just joking. If Glenn was here, I'd make fun of him like crazy. Actually, I'm going to make fun of you, Glenn. I'm going to. You know what you did. But one of my favorites is one thing that this franchise has always done incredibly well is the angles of filming. And I am not a filmmaker, but how they took elements from gaming, they took elements from anime, they took elements from classic sci-fi, not classic, classic action films, and they turned it into this incredibly beautiful film. And I'm going to say it's probably the second best, if not the second. It's equal to number 2 at the second best. And so much of that isn't necessarily the very innovative ways of killing. It's how they showed it. And there is this one scene, and it's a very long scene, and it's an incredible sequence of events, but how they shot it was it was breathtaking. I could watch that 5-minute sequence probably over and over again for 3 hours. It was incredible.
Can you just tell me where the location was real quick for myself? I'm curious.
It's inside. It's the scene inside during the chase.
Okay.
When it's from
Got
a
it.
certain angle.
Got it. Okay. I was curious because the reason I'm asking because there's so many.
There's so many
moments, so many spectacular scenes.
There's honestly, like, when you say what's your favorite scene, I love how that portion of the film was shot.
Yeah.
But I can't figure out my favorite. There are definitely least favorite moments because I'm like, that was kind of just awkward. But I mean, that's in any movie.
Yeah.
But it's one of those where it's like, I honestly don't know. The scene behind me was wonderful. Apparently in the car chase scene, which is in the trailer, it's not a spoiler, it's in the trailer. In the car chase scene around the arc, there is apparently Keanu Reeves is so good at driving now. They were thinking that it wouldn't look realistic anymore because, like, the scene, it's so beautifully done and it's so personal for Keanu Reeves and for the teams that it's just, you can feel it. You can feel it in the film.
Feel that. All right. Man, where do I start? Let's start at the very beginning. You mentioned it earlier, seeing this film in IMAX. Mm-hmm. The opening scenes of this film, wow. And at least in regards to sound, visually in scope, but also the oomph from the bass, like I felt it in the seat, Heather. It was vibing all around us. Like, it was crazy. Yeah, beautiful cinematography, great camera work. Shout out to all the DP, the crew killed it. But definitely see this in IMAX, like you said, because it's a vibe, it's a feeling, and especially with the angles and shots as they change as they go further and deeper into the film, it's an experience. And again, added with the audience, it's why we go to theaters, y'all. Like, real talk. And man, I know Heather and I were just talking the other day. There was, I don't know if it was the Oscars or something, or it was just like heavily put, this is why we go to the theater. Oh, it is from the other screen.
It's from the other thing. It's from the other thing.
But no, this film, no disrespect, because we'll talk all about that film and I enjoyed that film, but this film is why we go to theaters, Heather, right?
This one.
This film. Again, love the cinematography, but the biggest thing whenever I think about a John Wick film is the fight choreography, stunt work.
The puppies. Oh, okay.
That too. But they put it down on this. Whenever I vote for SAG-AFTRA awards or a lot of the awards committees that I've been involved with, and I think about fight choreography, stunt work, camera work to make that happen, I think about John Wick. These people put it down. And as an experienced actor myself, I know there's an independent film I did years back. And whenever I think about choreography, I think about that experience because young knucklehead actor myself and bro actor, I'm like, let's go hard. Because I just wanted to like make it look really good. Right. But we're working with live weapons. If you fuck up, you can kill somebody. You can cut yourself. And so I just know how hard it was for me to learn that routine. I got nicked, I got cut. And there's techniques as a filmmaker from the camera point of view where you can, and as an editing point of view where you can speed things up to make it look even more. So I give so much love to people that do stunt work, that build out these scenes to make things look good. It's like wrestling. There's a slow pace and a heavy pace in wrestling to build up an action, to build up a story. The same goes with the action that we see in cinema. And I just think might get glossed over because we get so much of it with the material that we consume, that there's so much work that goes into proper storytelling with action and shit. You've all seen the John Keanu going to get that handgun work, learning to work from real military officers and all that takes. Then to couple that with the choreography that you do on the set and all the different people that have to be involved with that scene so you don't get hurt. And as Heather pointed out, there's this scene with the Arc de Triomphe that now I've been to the Arc de Triomphe. I've been to Paris a lot. Now I can no longer look at that location the same, because now I'm going to like look at the different locations the next time I'm there. Oh, that's where Keanu did that. This is where Keanu did this. Although I think there is some green screen work there. But anyway, there is a lot that was shot live, I know. But, you know, you just look at things differently. But I just want to applaud when I think of John Wick Chapter 4 now. This needs to win some awards. And just all the people that have done the work on this. It's what we love when we watch this film. This action is brought to us by a great team of actors, stunt people, the filmmakers that make it look even better, that can speed things up and slow it down. I'm just astounded. And this is why we go to see film. This is why I love film. It's brilliant. On to other things, because we have others. There's so much more I could say on this. Like, I could go really long on John Wick Chapter 4. This film introduced us to Tracker. We also, got Kane in this with Donnie Yen. I don't want to spoil things. Is this the final chapter? I don't know. We're getting the ballerina film that you mentioned, Heather, but I want a Tracker film now. What did you think of Shamir Anderson? Did I say the last name right? Shamir Anderson. This cast that we got, Donnie Yen. Yeah, it is Shamir Anderson.
There's a lot of open. So no matter, this is kind of a spoiler, kind of not. By the way, there will be one very important spoiler at the end of this, and I just want to give people a spoiler. I want to just give people, especially animal lovers like me, a heads up. So I'll tell you when that is, but that'll be at the very end. But this here though is a 50-50 spoiler. There are a lot of open endings at the end of the film, whom I will not say. That's where it is. But there are several open endings.
And there's one big one we're not going to do. I promise I won't do that. That's why I'm just talking about other characters.
No, that's fine. There are a lot of open-ended points where you can definitely tell that they want to make this into a wider world, a wider franchise. I definitely want to know. I kind of want to know where Tracker came from versus where he's going.
Yeah, that's too. We need an origin story to Tracker.
Yeah, so whether he lives or dies in the movie, I'm not going to tell you. There's a lot of death in the movie. But I want to see where he came from. And when it comes to Kane is technically, as his backstory goes right alongside, it parallels John Wick's. So with that being said, we have a lot. We can go a lot in both directions.
But Akira, Sanada's daughter.
We have a story there. There is something that can absolutely happen. Not going to say, because that's definitely a spoiler.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But it's one of those where we have a lot of open points, which whether we get a John Wick Chapter 5 or whether we get additional stories, there's definitely room for our franchise. And I look forward. I'm going to say it. I'm not going to say that I want it. I'm going to say I look forward to it because it's almost expected. So
yeah, you can't do these dope introductions, create these dope characters, and not give us more of these characters. Come on. Mm-hmm. Come on. We'll riot in the streets. I'm calling it now. Man, I'm trying to not to say anymore because I'm afraid of spoiling. Heather's got me thinking about that now. So in so many ways,
we could actually get in trouble. So we have to be careful.
Yeah, but doggies make a dog makes its return in different ways. Not actual like ghost dog, not the OG dog that.
Not the OG dog. By the way, I've never seen that scene. I've watched John Wick.
You skipped it?
I actually, one of the things that I always loved about this franchise is that they were completely open about that at the beginning. They said that a puppy dies right at the beginning. Yeah. And so I prepared for it. I covered my ears and I closed my eyes, and my husband tapped me on the shoulder when it was done. I actually opened up my ears a little too early and I heard the puppy cry, and I was in tears. So if you're a bigger man than me and you could watch that, that's fine. I had I Am Legend and I did not need that ever with the puppy dying. So with that being said, I always appreciated that about the series, is that they were just like, there's a puppy death in the first sequence, so you need to cover your eyes. And I was like, thank you. But once again, there will be an itty bitty spoiler right before the end when we talk about puppies. But yes, the pit bull comes back. but he's now a companion, and I'm happy that he's now a companion.
Yeah. And then Tracker's dog.
Tracker's dog.
Can we talk Tracker's dog without spoiling? I'm trying to think about that.
I think she's in the posters. So yeah, I think
okay.
So.
There was I love Tracker's dog, and another great reason why I love Tracker as well. Is just that combo there. To me, it's like the perfect, combination of what we love about John Wick and now into this kind of character. But one that took me surprising, because I know your love for dogs. There's a moment where he did kind of get pushed out the way that I was like,
that was going to be the
Heather, are you okay?
Spoiler.
I don't know if I was okay.
Spoiler. All right, guys. So spoiler. For those of you who just for those of you who need it, there is a moment where the dog gets thrown on a car, and it is a throw. There is a whine. So at the arc sequence, if you need it, cover up your eyes for about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Just have your partner tap you on the shoulder when it's done. But just as a heads up, that does happen.
Okay, that was the spoiler.
That was what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm just gonna be quiet now. But let's just say yes. He does. What happens to the first dog in John Wick 1 does not happen to Tracker.
No. But there is a heavy moment for pet lovers.
Yes.
That can.
And you get the satisfaction later. That's a. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. John Wick Chapter 4. Oh my gosh. Bullets, blades, and bodies. See it in IMAX, the biggest screen possible. See it with your friends, and you will be riding in the streets with me as well. I hope, if we don't get more from these characters, because man, there's so much more I want to see with this. I had so much fun. This is why we go to see films, y'all.
It's why it's proof that how much we loved it. We can't. All you want to do is talk about it.
Yeah. So, Heather, take us home. Take us home, because I don't want to mess up anymore.
No messing up. We're just excited. This is called excitement.
Yes.
But Kuya P, where can they find you to talk about those spoilers after they see the film?
Okay. Yes. Please do, because as you see, I want to talk. And I'm just trying to be careful now. So I love y'all. Hit me up at The Legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, IG, Hive, and of course here with Heather and the whole squad at the NRW and Annual Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. But also hit up my girl Heather so she can talk about it, because she wants to talk about things too, but we don't want to get in trouble. So Heather, how can they reach out to you?
Sure, you can talk to me about Constantine at Nerd is a Heather on Twitter and at Heather is a Nerd on TikTok and Instagram. We thank you guys and enjoy the movie. Once again, John Wick Chapter 4 arrives on March 24th with early showings on March 23rd. Bye, guys.
Bye.
We just got out of John Wick. It's out in theaters March 24th. Tickets are available right now, and our review will be out soon.
Yes, sir.